Hey guys, been a while since I've been in the creek. We've had a lot of rain this spring. Water's really high and have just had a lot to do. Just haven't really been able to get in there, and but it's starting to dry out a little bit, and I'm looking forward to getting in there pretty soon, maybe. In the meanwhile, I've just been going across the street here from the house and just working the fields over here. This used to be a really big campsite here where my house is at, and um, there's a lot of artifacts. Unfortunately, but now the farmer has a new technique about farming. He doesn't plow; he actually just kind of slits the ground and plants the seed. So you're not getting this turnover in the ground where you can kind of pull up these artifacts anymore. So I haven't been hunting it a whole lot, over the years. But anyway, I've been going over there since the water's been kind of high, and just kind of pulling some things out from over there. And I thought we'd go over what I've been finding. These are the small kind of tools that you're going to find in a campsite. Going to have tools, but they're not going to be the real large ones like you see down on the river, where they actually keep them down there and don't bring them to the campsite because they're so big and heavy. But these are kind of familiar. I know you guys that follow me, you've seen these type of little, what I call palm grinders. Very similar design. They taper this front end down for your index finger. And it's kind of a finger held piece. It's a left-handed piece, and they would hold it like that. And they would grind, your grains and nuts with a tool like this. And maybe other things we just don't know. Here's one. It's rectangular shaped. Really nice one here. You can see all the layers in this quartz that where they've ground it down on the top, kind of showing these different layers. Packed on this side, not as much polishing over here as on the other side here, but and then there's your grinding surface there. It's super flat. Again, you can see the layers in this quartz from the grinding and polishing. And I got it tapered here on the front end. Got it chipped down and polished a little bit. Here's a basalt piece here. These are very familiar if you guys watch me. I find quite a few that are shaped this way, this kind of teardrop shape. But this has got a quartz layer here that, of course, also if you follow me, the dual material, they really like to find stones that had the quartz and granite and mix, or quartzite mix. But it's another little finger held piece. Been pecked into shape and ground. Got this little heel on it. You see how that quartz is just about gone, worn down. And these stones right here, I'm not 100% sure, but I find a fair amount of these with the tourmaline in the back of this thing. These are all super polished stones, but I believe these stones were used probably for rubbing hides, kind of get them flexible and pliable after they've cured. So we just rub these hides back and forth with a stone like this until they became soft and pliable so they could actually use them. A lot of work into this piece here. This is grooved out right in here. I think it's just for getting a better grip in there. Got a little bit of an edge to it. Really nice, well-worked tool. But that's what I think these were these were used for. This piece right here, I was finding these triangular shaped pieces, and I was noticing these really worn edges on them. And you know, a well shaped tool and polished. But seeing this really worn edge, and showed them to a friend of mine. He knew right away. He said, "Oh, these are pottery trowels." And so they would work these. They would use these stones to work the inside of a pot, clay pot, and to get them really smooth. And also on the outside too, because when they cured, a lot of times they had, you know, rough edges on the outside, and they would use a tool like this just to kind of knock off those rough edges on the pot. And finding the pottery. There's a really old piece here. This one's probably going to run back about 4,000 years. This is a fiber substrate piece of pottery. Probably this technology came out of the Stalin's culture, which were the oldest known culture in North America to make pottery. And they used fiber instead of ground quartz. The rest of these are going to be more than likely Cherokee. These are coiled pieces, a lot thicker. One's got some design in it. Fired inside. Another one with some more design, fired inside. See how smooth it is right here? They would use this tool to kind of smooth this pottery out inside. Another little piece here. This one hasn't been fired inside. Anyway, got a cube here. Let's see if we can find what part of this stone that they used to work with. Nope, nope. You see the chipping in there though. Nope. 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 Here it is right there. You see all the wear along the edges? So this was just used for crushing grains, nuts, or even maybe bone, for trying to get the bone marrow out. But see all this wear? That's how you can tell this is a tool. Plus, this cube shape does not happen in nature. You know, if it is, it's just a one-off. But this stone was made this way. You know, maybe originally it had a bit of a cube shape, but they did, you know, they worked this thing down. You can see right here, that working, this chipping marks and stuff. So they worked it down to some degree. But yeah, that's the surface. You got to look at these things close, guys. And that's the working surface. It's kind of pitted in there in the middle. And these two here are called bell scrapers, made out of quartz. Really nice examples. They're small, used for small, you know, probably scraping smaller hides, rabbit or something like that, or other small mammals. Here's another one, kind of a rosy quartz, but same shape, a little napped around the edges. And these are called bell scrapers. Here's a thumb scraper here. There's the edge right there that they use to scrape. Little napped edges. Another small one. And this is a really rare piece here. This is a scribe. Little bug on it. So this tool here, see if we can get it to focus. They would use this thing to scribe in a softwood, pottery also, with a little tip there. And these are rare because these tips on these scribes would just usually not, they wouldn't last or survive. I have no idea how old this piece is, but usually these would break off. But pretty rare find there. And I got a couple points here. This one here is, I think, I would call it a dart point. This is possibly a bird point, but to me it's a little bit big. To me it looks like a palmer, and the palmer is very old. Be way back into mid, maybe early archaic. But I think it's a dart point. It's white quartz. And this one here is even more interesting to me. This is chert piece. This is a blade or spear point, and this back end has just been broke off on. Otherwise, it'd been pretty much, almost perfect. Got some tip damage to it too, but I'm surmising this came out of maybe the Topper site down below Augusta. It's a huge chert mine down there. Been used for tens of thousands of years. They found that chert as far north as Maryland and as far southwest as Louisiana. So it was a very well-known chert mine, and very large one down there. And don't know how it made it up here because we don't have hardly any chert here. So it might have been a trade item with tribes coming up here and trading. But yeah, it's that taupe color chirp that comes out of that Topper site. But I don't know for sure. But chert, I do know. Anyway, guys, all I got, and hope you're doing well, and we will get back with you later. Maybe I can get in a creek here for too long. Talk to you later.